give them instructions. They're doing the grading right now, and I saw like 2-3 grades are already uploaded, so they're uploading as they're grading them. Should be done by today. By latest by midnight, it should be up. Homework 2, I will grade. I I will grade homework 2, so I will start that today, and probably finish that today. So by today you'll have homework 2 and project 2. Homework 2 is due today. I saw some already posted.
Oh, thank you. I thought it was no, it's due today.
It's due today, so then because I already saw some homeworks that are submitted, so I thought I would wait.
That's fine. That's fine. Let us turn in ours too.
Okay, so then you'll get homework grades by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll get homework grades by tomorrow and project 2 by today. So that's it, right? Those are the 2 left. No, project 3 is due when?
Wednesday.
Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Did you say Thursday by 2 p.m.?
So project 3 is oh, I just changed it also. I just changed it. Project 3 is Wednesday midnight. Yeah.
9? Okay.
Yes.
Have you looked at the discussion on the grading, or is that going to be defined?
Yeah, discussion on the grading. I just looked at it from the from whatever you have said. Only one thing makes sense. So this thing does not. Oh, let me show you. I cannot do this. There is too much change. It's like totally proposing a new grading scheme. So I cannot do this. I cannot drop the lowest project and switch final now. What I can do is I can have the final and midterm the same way. That I can. Final and midterm the same way. But I can only do that if everybody agrees. So I'll have to have a vote. If any one person says no, I won't do it. So everybody has to say yes. If they say yes, then I will change that. Unless I want.
What if it was just the lowest project instead of swapping them?
Yeah, I can do that as well. So I cannot do both together. So I can either change the make the weights of midterm and final the same, or I can drop the lowest project. Right. So now any one of these. So again we'll have to take a vote and you have to agree. Yes.
So what if someone got 100 on a project? So was that technically?
So no, then that doesn't matter for that person. Vote.
Is it dropping the lowest project and homework, or just lowest project?
No, lowest project.
Okay, so the options are you drop the lowest project
That is just that.
or
I keep all the projects. I make the weights of my midterm and final the same.
what if that kind of pros and cons of each?
Well, I think it depends on, how people generally fare on the test.
Yeah, if somebody is good at coding, then he won't be really happy with it. If I make midterm and final exam the same way. If somebody is very bad at coding, then he'll be very happy with it. Not going to draw. But that's the thing, that's the catch, that everybody has to agree to what to do. There cannot be any split. If there is a split, I'll keep whatever it is right now.
Can we try to convince people about it if there's?
Yeah, you can talk to people and convince. That's not my problem.
So how are we gonna vote? Are we gonna vote through the session board?
Yes, I will make a here, not discussion board. I will make a assignment where you can vote. Oh, and project 3 is on Wednesday. Yes, that's the change, Wednesday midnight. Any other issues with the logistics, grading, and all that? Okay. So there are some questions I got through email. So let's go through them. and then we'll go through the lambda expressions. Right? So one question is, so your question 3 in homework, right? Homework had that question 3. So homework you did not submit yet. It's due tomorrow. But let's discuss that homework, that question. Okay. So this is the so this is the code sample. This is the homework 3. So that is no question 3 in homework 2. So this is that runtime execution question. So a student asked me to do this to see if we can solve this one, and that is like a pointer towards your question number 3 in homework 2, right? Similar. So that's. No, this is your current homework too, but this code is not exactly there. It's some similar code. Or is it? Let me check. Is it totally the same? This versus this. Not really. That's fine. I'll do this. Okay, so let's do this one. So int A. Here, what it says is you have to trace the stack, right? So initially you have a stack. Let's say this is 0, this is A, 0, 0, 0, 0. You might need a bigger stack, but we'll see how it goes. So int A 200. So A is a global variable. Will A be in the stack? No, it won't be. Right. So initially you know that main has to be called by another function, right? So let's say this is our initial stack pointer. I don't know why it is this, but let's assume that this is it. Now the base pointer, the initial base pointer will be somewhere here, right? EBP, and it cannot be there because it's outside. It will be somewhere here. Either at the same place as ESP or lesser than that. Right? That is EBP. So now you call main. So main is a function that is being called. So if main is a function that is being called, then it does a few things. First of all, it does push EBP, right? It has to do push EBP. So if you do push EBP, your stack pointer will reduce by 1, and you will have EBP 0 here. So EBP 0 is the base pointer of the previous function that called main, right? Now, okay, here now main does not have any local variables, so it does not need to create any space for the local variables. But it calls the function bar, so it's its responsibility to put the variables or put the actual parameters of bar into the stack. So it has to create space for that. So there are two variables; those are temporary variables, a and 2, right? So now it has to create two spaces. So it might create more, but at least 2. So the stack pointer goes here. 2 spaces are created. Then it uploads the variables in the reverse order. So 2 goes here and A goes here. Right? So A has the value 200. So A will have 200 here. Right? So then after doing this, it has to call bar. So if it calls bar, then what does it do anything to the stack when it calls bar? it does something, right? It has to push the instruction pointer. So the next line of code. So let's say the instruction pointer of a return 0 is something, the EIB something, right? EIB main, let's say. So it puts the stack pointer here and makes EIP main. Right? Oh, before I forgot to do one thing. Here main has to move EVP to ESP, right? So now EVP of main has the value ESP, which was here, this value, right? So now when you go to bar, the first thing bar does is that it pushes the EVP, right? Pushes EVP main. So you reduce the stack again. Reduce the stack again, and here you have EVP main, right? Here you have EVP main. Now inside bar there is no local variable, so it does not need to create any space for local variable. Now it tries to access the actual parameters y and z. So it knows that again one more step we forgot, that it moves the EVP to ESP, right? The reverse. Move the ESP to EVP. Yeah, move the ESP to EVP, not EVP to EVP. Moves ESP to EVP. Same here. It moves ESP to EVP. Right? So now it also does this. So the EVP, the current EVP of the function bar, EVP of bar is now the ESP. So this one equals ESP. The EVP of bar is here, right? Okay. Now it knows that if I do ESP or no, if I do EVP minus 4, I get EVP main. EVP minus 8 is no, EVP minus 4 is yes. Now I know that EVP is EVP main, right? Then I know that EVP minus 4 is EIP main. EVP minus 8 is A. EVP minus C is 2. So I know exactly where my actual parameters are. So it now chooses EVP minus C to get 2, EVP minus 8 to get A, and then it does A by 10. Now this A by 10, this is, you have to use LEA to solve this A by 10. Now what code you use, that is part of the assembly code. That does not affect the stack. So I am not going to show you what is EVA by 10. So you have to repeatedly subtract. You have to repeatedly subtract A by 10 from A. So that, let's not go into that. Does not affect any stack. If condition y multiplied by z greater than 10 does not affect the stack, right? Then you go to bar a comma 2. So now what was by y and z? Y was how much?
A. Whatever A is.
A and 2, right? A and 2. So A was 200 and 2 was 2. So 400. Y multiplied by z is 400. 400 is greater than 10. So you call bar. Now if you call bar, again you know that you have to have A and 2, right? So you have to create space. You have to create space for A and 2. So you decrement by at least 2. So decrement stack pointer by at least 2. And then you have 2 here and here A equals 200 here, right? Then, so we need more stack. So let's say this is not 0. This is not the end of the stack.
Question,
Yes?
is it 200 again, or was it 200 divided by 10?
Oh, mistake. So A, okay, yeah, A is 200 by 10, so it's not 20. So A will be 20. Let's redraw it. 200 by 10, right? That's 20. Yes. So you have the stack here. Then you again you have to call bar. So if you have to call bar, you have to take the EIP of bar, okay, and push it into the stack. And EIP of bar. Now EBP of bar was here. EBP of bar was here. This EBP of bar, right? Now if EBP was bar of here, then when you go to bar again, you have to push the EBP of bar again, right? So here you have ESP here and EBP of bar in here. Then A is 20 and Z again is 2. So you do multiply 20 by 2 and you find 40. So it's again greater than 10. Yes, it's again greater than 10. Now bar is 2 now. So if it is greater than 10, so you again push 2 here and push A equals 2 here, and then you have EIP of bar here and again call bar, right? Now this EBP of bar 2, the second call of bar was there, right? Now when you come to the third bar also pushes EBP of bar 2, right? Here. Now you call again, you find Y multiplied by Z is 4. 4 is not greater than 10. You don't call bar, right? And that is location Y. So this is here location Y. That is the stack. Now some student also asked me a question that in the previous lecturer's video you found that you don't have to use EBP and all that, you just use the variables, and that's fine, but I would prefer you to have those EBPs and EIPs. So if a student has already done EBP and EIPs, that person is going to get full points. You will be deducted some points, right? So you have to show the EBP, EIP, because if you don't show that, then it's you don't really understand how the stack works. What you can do is, if you don't have EBP, EIP, you can just partition. Okay, this is stack for bar for main. This is for bar 1, bar 2, and it just has 2 and A equals 20. That doesn't mean that you understood stack operation. So unless you show me where are the EIPs, EBPs of main and bar 2, then I don't know whether you have understood stack operation or not, right? So I would suggest use that. If you show that, you will get full points. Does that answer the question on the runtime execution? Do you have better idea about homework 3? Oh, question 3 in homework 2. Yeah.
How to deal with the print function?
Don't deal with it, because print function is another story. What you can do is just show the arguments of print function. That's it. Just show how you put the arguments in the stack. Again, it's the same. You go from right to left, right? Just treat print as any normal function. Don't go into the semantics that is calling a system call and all that, because when you call print, you do a lot of other things to the stack other than the base pointer, instruction pointer. You don't have to show all those things, right? Just show that how you upload the arguments of print into the stack.
And for the
question one, there is to type and.
Question 1.
Yeah.
So we'll come to question 1 later.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions regarding this one? Okay. So now we can go to question 1. Of the homework?
Yeah.
Yes. What is the question 1?
Mm,
Yes.
Oh, when I compare the type T5 and T6,
Yes.
there is the array of T6 and the array of T5.
Yes.
And the size is not specified. How could I compare it?
Assume that both sizes are same.
Oh,
Okay, so we'll have more questions, we'll answer those. But let's do the final exam. We had some things left. We didn't finish the sample final exam, the lambda expressions left. Let's try to do those. Okay, so beta redux, right? Let's try to do beta redux. So how many of you have tried doing this? And okay, so we know that beta redux we have to have this type of form. Lambda x dot e, and we have to have another e, right? This type of form we have to have. And what does this mean? This means that you take e and replace or substitute x by e. So let's say e1, e2. You take e1, substitute x by e2. That's what it means, right? So do we have a redux here?
Yes.
We do, right? What is the e here? Or e1?
Lambda a dot xa.
Okay, e1 is lambda a dot xa, and what is e2?
Xab.
E2 is xab. So what does it mean? So you take e1, so lambda a dot xa, you take e1 and you replace, oh no, not replace, I keep on saying replace, not really replace, you substitute x by xab, right? Now what was the rule that we said we have to follow? So if you go back to the truth, let's go back. In the final exam you won't be able to go back. You have to remember. But you have cheat sheet, so you can maybe write it down. Yes. 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 So we said that lambda. Okay. So lambda y dot e x goes to n. So if I apply the rules, what will happen here?
X will be replaced by xab, or substitute, I mean.
First of all, So x goes to xab. Now we have to first use this rule, right? Lambda y dot e x goes to n. So we have to see that x is not equal to y. Yes. So y here is a and x is not equal to a. Now we have to see that y a free variable in n. So y is what? A. Is a free variable in xab?
No,
A is not a free variable in xab?
it is.
It is, right? There is no lambda binding a in xab. It is a free variable. Do you understand? It is somebody else saying no. So a is a free variable in xab. If a is a free variable in xab, what do we have to do? We have to change that a to something else, right? So let's change the a to some other variable, say w. So a change to w. So we have lambda w x w. So this is this is replacement, not substitution. This is replacement. So replace the variable a by w, and then you substitute x by x a b, right? So then if you do that, then you get lambda w dot x a b w. Right. Now is there any beta redux here?
No.
There are no other beta redux. So this is the answer. This is the answer for well the question. For the number 1. Right? Let's do number 2. Okay, anybody has doubts? Yes.
Would it be incorrect to keep the parentheses around XAB when doing the reduction, or so instead of being lambda w dot XABW, it'd be lambda dot w XAB includes CW?
Yeah, you should keep the parentheses.
Okay.
But here it doesn't make a difference. In other cases it might make a difference. Here it doesn't make a difference. It has to extend as far right as possible, right? So lambda w xab w same as if you don't have the parentheses,
Okay.
right? So let's go to the second one. We have lambda x dot lambda y dot xy, and you have lambda x dot yx. Okay. So we have to find out lambda x dot e and some n, right? What is the e? What is e here? Yes. E is lambda y dot xy and n is lambda x dot yx, right? So basically you take e and you replace x by lambda x dot yx. Substitute x by that. So what is e? E is lambda y dot xy, and you have to substitute x by lambda x dot yx. Now the question is y a free variable?
Yes.
Yes. So if it is a free variable, you have to textually replace y here by, again, let's say w, x w, and you have to replace x or substitute x by lambda x dot y. So you do that substitution. So it became lambda w dot lambda x dot yx w. Okay. Now, do you have any other redux? No, yes. How will you parse this? So whenever you are asking a question that whether you have an redux or not, ask the question, how will you parse that?
Expression.
Yes, so which rule do you use to parse? The first rule, what will you use to parse this? Rule 2 is what? Lambda id dot e. So you have to use this to parse lambda id dot e. So id here is w and e here is lambda x dot y x w, right? Then how will you parse e? E1, E2, right? So now do you see a redux?
Yeah.
Where do you see it?
Lambda x, y, x, and w.
Yes. So you see that E reduces to E has a redux, right? So you do that redux. So what does it mean? Lambda x dot y x, and you have this w as redux. So you have to take y x and replace x by w, right? So now here there is no free variable or anything. So you say lambda or yw, right? So yw. So then what you have is this expression uses to yw, so it reduces to lambda w yw. This is the final reduction. And you don't have any more redux here. So you stop there. Any doubts? You try to do that, maybe you will have doubts, we will discuss tomorrow. If you don't have doubts right away. Then let's do the third one. So whenever you are doing all this, always ask yourself, how will you parse this? What are the disambiguation rules to parse this? And if you can parse it correctly, then you will do redux correctly. The only problem comes when there is ambiguity, and in lambda expressions there will be ambiguity. So just use the disambiguation rule. So again, how again you have to do this. How will you parse it? Expression. So the moment you have an expression parsing, you know there is a redux. Right? So there is a redux here. So we have lambda a dot e. This is e, right? And we have an n, which is this one, right? So then what we need to do? We need to take lambda b dot lambda c dot b a b c. We need to take this, right, and take a, replace it, or no, substitute it with lambda x dot lambda y dot xy. I keep using replace. Don't use replace. It's substitute. So here we need to do this. Now a. So a is so we apply that rule 5 or 6. Any one of these those rules will apply. So rule 5 says that okay, x is not equal to y. Yes, a is not equal to b. And is b a free variable? No, b is not a free variable. So you can just use this. So basically it means that you have lambda b dot, you take lambda c dot b a b c, right? Take this expression, right? You take this expression and basically you replace e by replace x by or basically a. You replace a by lambda x dot lambda y dot xy. So you do that. So if you do lambda b dot lambda c dot b, and then you have lambda x dot lambda y dot xy. Then you have b c. That's it, right? Yes. So you have this. Now you ask the question: do you have any beta redux? Any more beta redux?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's the lambda x lambda y x y b c.
How do you come to that? How do you say that that is a beta redux? You have to again think about parsing. So think about parsing. How will you parse this one? So ID will be B, and you have an expression E that is lambda C dot B. Then you have lambda X dot lambda Y dot XY, and you have BC, right? Then how will you parse this one further? You say that okay, again ID is C, and you have an E prime which is B. Lambda x dot lambda y dot xy, and you have BC, right? That's how you parse. Then how will you parse this further? We have E1, E2. So E1 is B, E2 is lambda x dot lambda y dot xy, BC, right? Now here you found the redux, right? You parse this further like this. That you have this and then C. So this is your E3 and C is your E4, right? You still not have a redux yet. Then E3 will be parsed as E5, E6. So E6 here is B, right? And E5 here is lambda x dot lambda y dot xy, right? Now you have a redux. Now you have a redux. So what is the redux? The redux is lambda x dot lambda y dot xy b. Remember, not bc. That is the redux, right? So what is the redux? What you do with the redux? Basically, you take lambda y dot xy and you replace. No, substitute x by b, right? Now y is not a free variable in B, so no problem, you get lambda y dot by, right? So that expression, so E5, by applying E6 to E5 you get that. Then you come to E2, so E2 becomes this, C, right? E2 becomes C. You get again another, this is another redux, right? So this is another redux. What do? You take By and you keep y substituted with c. So there is no free variable in c. I mean y is not a free variable in c, so you get bc. So E2 parses to bc. So and E1 was b. So you now get E1 or E prime. Basically E prime becomes bbc. E prime becomes bbc. So if that is the case, E prime, then you get lambda c dot bbc, then lambda b. No redux anymore. Are we done? Yes. No redux anymore. So this is the. So every time you you try to find a redux, don't look for it. Don't just keep staring on that lambda expression and try to look for a redux. Try to parse it using the disaggregation rules. Yes, you had a question?
Yeah, why is it on some problems when we have situations like B, C together, we consider that as a single expression versus here where we do B as one expression and C as another expression?
Left associative rule. You consider left associative rule. Left associative rule says what? If you have this expression, no, which was this? What was this? Yeah. If you have this expression, right? Lambda x dot lambda y dot xy. BC. Left association means what? You release one variable from the right. Right? So left association means if this is your E1 and this is E2.
Okay.
So you have to always, that is how you disambiguate. Because this rule is disambiguous. You could have taken that this is E1 and BC is E2. You could have done that, but that is not the right way.
Okay.
You should do like this as E1 and that is E2. The disambiguation rule says. So if you parse in a different way, you get totally different answers. So be very careful. Do I need to do 4 and 5?
Yes.
Okay. How will you parse this? Again, same question. Expression. What is E1, E2?
E1 is lambda x of the y of yz, and E2 is the rest. Oh wait, no. Oh,
Is that the case?
It would be lambda x, lambda y, yx, and 2 would be the expression.
And 2. Remember again, left associated rule. So you let one expression from the right go. So if you let one expression from the right go, then this becomes E1 and this becomes E2. Right? Do you have any redux in E2? No redux. Do you have any redux in E1? Yes, you do. So what do you do? So you take E1 and then you say that okay, this lambda y dot yx, and I want to replace x. Again replace. I want to substitute x by 2. Right? That's what I want to do. So then you have lambda y dot. Okay, so y is not a free variable in 2, so you have y 2. Any further redux in E1? Yes.
What is that? Lambda y dot y three.
Here you replace x by 2. Again replace. You substitute x by 2.
I'm just, the lambda y stays.
Yes, because this is the expression. This is the expression. In this expression, you substitute x. Lambda x goes. Yeah, you are not substituting y. If you substitute y, then nothing will change. It will keep be lambda y dot yx. Okay. So yeah, any redux here? No more redux. Right. Then what you do is you do lambda y dot y2, and you have the expression 2 lambda x dot xx. Now is there any more redux?
Yes.
Yes. Now there is a redux. What is that redux? So E is y2, right? And I want to replace. Oh, why do I use replace? I want to substitute y by lambda x dot xx. Right. Again, y is not a free variable in n, so you can easily substitute y here. So you get lambda x dot xx, and you have 2 here. Any redux? Do you have any redux? Still have a redux. So xx is the expression, and you would want to substitute x by 2. So x is not a free variable there, so just substitute by 2. You have 2. So that's the redux. Any questions? Okay, so let's do the next one. Lambda A dot EA, lambda X dot X, and then we have X A. This whole thing. Yeah. How will we parse this? Expression. So what is E1, E2? He had a question. The previous one or this
The
one?
previous one, when you, well, anyone, when you are done with the redux, do you have to rewrite out the whole thing together, or you just leave it?
When you are done with?
When you finish reducing everything down, do you write out the new, with all the?
Just this one, you write this one.
Just that, you just done it?
Yes. But you have to show your work. You cannot just write two in the answer. Then I'll assume that you took it from somewhere. Okay. So yeah, E1, E2. So E2. Do you have any redux in E2? No. Do you have any redux in E1? Yes. Lambda A dot EE, and you have lambda X dot X. This is the E1. So here we have the redux. So let's do it. So AA has to be in AA you substitute A by lambda X dot X. So you get lambda X dot X, and you have lambda X dot X. Yes. Do you have another redux here?
Yes.
Yes. So here you substitute, you get expression E is X, and you substitute X by lambda X dot X. Now is X a free variable in lambda X dot X? No. So you can you don't need to do anything. So this becomes lambda X dot X. Okay. So this is your E1. E1 became lambda X dot X. Now you go up. So you have E2 again. XA. Do you have a redux?
Yes.
You do. You get X and you substitute X by XA. Now you see that X is a free variable in XA. Right? X is a free variable in XA. If X is a free variable in XA, then you have to change this variable. So you change this to W, right? And you make X to XA. So the result becomes W. It's kind of a weird ending. You would expect that the result would be XA, but no.
Can you go over that last one?
Okay, so last part is lambda X dot X, XA. You have to substitute X by XA. Now, so you want to substitute X by XA. Now you see that X, lambda X you had here. So X is a free variable here. So if X is a free variable, you use this rule, the next one, and the last rule, right? Oh, no, I made it. I made a mistake here. This remains lambda X dot X. Why? Because you look at rule 4. What does rule 4 say? Rule 4 says that lambda X dot E, and you have to replace X by N. So X is equal to lambda X, right? Lambda, whatever X you had in lambda X, that is X. So you are basically replacing the formal parameter. You're substituting the formal parameter by an expression. You cannot do that. That doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Can't you just alpha substitute x with like z and then apply x?
No, that's not the rule. That is not the rule. That rule will be applied if it was y. If it was lambda y dot y and you wanted xa, substitution by xa, you could have done that.
But isn't x a bound variable in the first expression?
Yes.
So why can't we just replace it with z? Why can't we do that?
Didn't understand.
I'm saying that let's replace x with like u or z in the first expression, and then we can apply xa to that. If it's bound in the first expression, we should be able to substitute it with any other name, right?
I got confused. Right. I did it right the first time. So lambda x dot x to xa, right? This is wrong. I did it correct the first time. So remember, that is not a substitution. This is not a substitution. This is a beta redux, right? So in this rule or in this lambda expression, the substitution operations does not make sense. You cannot use substitution operations because this is a redux. You have not changed it into a substitution expression yet. So you have to first apply the rules of a redux. What is the rule? What are the rules of a redux? So if you have lambda x dot e and then n, you take e and replace x or substitute x by xa. Right? You take e and substitute x by xa. So that's why the first thing you apply is a beta redux rule, not a substitution rule. The first thing you apply is a beta redux rule. So that means you take the expression x and you substitute x by xa. Right? That is the first rule you take. So now it becomes a substitution expression. Now you can go to the substitution operation and try to apply your things. Right? Now you go there and try to apply. So now what it does is that it says, okay, use that rule 1. This is similar to the rule 1. So use the rule 1, basically then that becomes explained. So this is a mistake that I made and it's a very tricky situation. This can be a common mistake in exam also. So you can remember, do not apply substitution rules at this stage. Because this is not a substitution, this is a beta redux. This is not a substitution. So don't apply substitution rules here. Apply beta redux rules here. So what does the beta redux rule say? That you have lambda x dot x and you have xa. So basically take x and in that expression you substitute x by xa. So your expression is x here, not lambda x dot x. Your expression is x and you want to substitute x by xa. So if that is the case, use that first rule. Then if it perfectly fits the first rule, so you take x and replace it, substitute it by xa, and you get the answer x. Right. So is that clear? You understand? You have doubts?
So the XA should be the final answer.
Yes. Okay. So that is the. So we have discussed all the final questions. Right? We discussed everything here. I think so. Right? Last class we discussed everything. Okay. So now, do you have any other questions that I can answer?
Is the video for the last the first half already up, or?
I am uploading the video for the 1st August. Then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th are not there. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and today. So I have still 4 videos to upload.
You just skip like to the final.
I can upload the 5th, No, 4th and 7th, and then later third. Yes.
Can you do problem number 6 but pass by name again? Didn't get it last time.
Problem number 6.
And pass by name.
Problem number 6. Solve by name. Yes. Where is it? So pass by name, problem number 6. So the trick to pass by name is just textually replace. So where is the call? The call is foo ax. So b is equal to foo a x a x. X a x. Right. Now, not only have to textually replace, but you also have to make the box and circle diagram for that. Right? So you know that x has a box and circle. So this is x, and its value is 0. And you have ax also has a box and circle. Right? So a0 has a box and circle. A1 will have a box and circle, and a2 will also have a box and circle. So a0 was what? It was 0. Okay. I'm not drawing a1, a2 because I don't think you need it. Right? Do you need it? Or maybe you do. Let's draw a1. So initially a1 had the value 1 and a2 had the value 2. Yes, 2. Okay. Now what you do is you are calling foo int a int c. So you replace, you textually replace. So foo becomes instead of int a you have x, and int c becomes a x. Right? So now you rewrite the function. So if you rewrite that function, you have int x. Now let's make it x prime, because you know that same name you have to keep it different. So let's rename it as x prime. Int y remains y. Then you get x equals a plus c. So x equals a plus c. So that means x prime equals x plus ax. Right? And then you have a equals a plus 2. So x equals x plus 2. And then you have y equals c. Y equals ax. Right? And you have c equals y minus 1. So ax equals y minus 1. And then you return bar a. Okay. So when you are returning bar a, so bar a has to be textually replaced by x, right? So basically you are calling bar x. So if you call bar x, then that you have to also textually replace y by x. So if you replace y by x, then x becomes 10, and you return y plus 4. Oh, yeah. You return x plus 4, right? So that is your bar x. So now let's execute. So if you execute, you'll see that okay, x initially was 0, a0 was 0. So you go here. So x dash y, x becomes x plus ax, x plus 0, x plus 0, so x dash becomes 0. X becomes 2. So this one became 2. So y equals ax, so a2. So now y became 2, right? And then ax equals 1 minus 1. So a2 becomes 1. Right? A2 becomes 1. And then you return bar x. So x was what? X was 2. So here x became 10. So this one becomes 10. You return 14.
There's so much on the screen.
Still, what? Oh, good. So you return here 14. So when you return from bar, you also return from foo. So now B is 14. Right? B becomes 14. So now you are printing. So if you are printing, first thing you print X. What is the value of X? You get 10. Then you do A0. A0 is still 0. A1 is 1. A2 is 1. And B is 14. That's what you get. Understand any doubts? Yes.
What did you say?
Any other questions? Any other problems you are facing?
So pass by name also pass the address to the formal.
Yeah, it's like a combination of value and reference. So remember we saw a implementation which used pass by value and also pass by reference to implement pass by name. So just refer to that, it will give you the same results. So just to give a brief overview, since you're passing, see you're passing x and ax, what you have to do is you have to make x global, right? So if you make x global, like in that implementation, the implementation that we talked about, we made x global. So if you make x global, then it, wherever you change x, its value is going to change for everybody, right? So that is the that is why you are getting x is changing all the time. Here it is.
Do we have to show the box and circle diagrams in our work?
If you show, then I will be even more inclined to give you full points. If you don't show, I will be little less inclined. Any other questions? If you don't have any questions, we can go. We can have an early end. But yeah, so go through the material. Tomorrow is the last chance to ask questions because Wednesday we have the final exam. So come prepared with questions, and I'll upload the review today. Send me an email.
Kör dagen, det är dagen igen, gå.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you're doing
So do you go back and change all the related variables?
No, because
For example, y equals c, but then on the last line, c is equal to a real number. Then y must also be a real number.
but if you say that y equals b plus c, and the next line is b equals a, and you know that you know that c is real, but you don't know anything about y and a.
So all of them must be unknown in order for you to state them. If they're already known,
Then they will not be. They're likely to. If they're known, so let's say y is in and c is real, then you say that no, y cannot be b plus c and c be a different type of y.
so if there is a question, then you just leave this.
Yes, yes, I know.
Is the
But the first time when you went through the lines, you did not know that they were unknown. But once you come back to the last line,
You make c equals real. Oh, if they're unknown,
yes,
then you have to go back and calculate.
right. But if they're known, then obviously it goes, then come later on. So if they're known and come to a head mismatch anyways in the first place.
No, so you say you know that y gets c,
Right.
and then in the last line you say c equals real. And then I will.
Usually that's the first. But the last line says something else.
usually not
Quick question on the tool. So this is what you
Because the handwriting.
哎，你也看啊？你看
我没看，我没看，我没看。你不是让我看来着？
I didn't even start. I was down there.
Two at Brickyard. 2 p.m.
Where?
Brickyard.
In your office?